But yeah, she's there. She's just kind of in the back. Okay, yeah, you knock.
Can we take a
Um,
moment so I can get more tea,
oh
perhaps?
sure,
Okay,
go
one
for it.
moment.
Gonna eat more
I can
chips.
fan my face.
Okay,
Yes.
you knock on the door, very familiar door, and for a second you don't hear anything. But you wait. You give it like maybe 30 seconds, and then you hear what you recognize the sound. It's someone coming down the stairs, like the tree stairs. You can hear like hurried footsteps, as if someone. You've done this before when you were living here. Someone knocks on the door, and you kind of hear it from up in the treehouse, and then you have to run down and answer it.
Right. You build up a lot of leg muscles in elven
Yep,
homes when you're down the stairs.
yep. Just like wizards, those powers. But yeah, you hear sort of quick pounding of footsteps coming down the covered stairs. And someone opens the door and says, "Sorry, yes." And you do not recognize this person. It is a complete stranger.
Okay.
She's an elven woman. I'm gonna send you a picture of my fan cast for her. I have fan casts for like two characters, and I don't know why it's just them. Um, Come on, paste. Don't want to have to save this picture. Sorry, looks like I'm gonna have to save this picture. Hang on. God, sorry, this is so incredibly anticlimactic. Jesus Christ.
Oh, don't worry. I'm still nervous.
Okay. You see an elven woman who looks like short-haired Golshifta Farahani.
She's so hot.
Yeah. Now you don't have to ask me if the NPC is hot. Yeah, so she looks kind of like this. She has like chin length, big curly hair. And she just sort of, and she's an elf. She looks older than you for sure, at a core, older than Eleni. Like probably about your mom's age, maybe a little bit younger. And she looks out at all of you and is a little bit startled. She's wearing very practical like pants and shirt, and there's what looks like maybe like wood shavings stuck to the fabric of her clothing. But yeah, she just kind of stands and and looks at all of you for a second, a little bit taken aback. Can I
Hi.
help you with something?
I'm sorry if this is a stupid question, but does Melodora still live here?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay.
she's not here right now. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So you must be I'm assuming my mom wrote to me about her girlfriend.
I was thinking not, but
I wrote her about mine. That's rude.
it is more recent
Okay.
than your girlfriend,
Maybe
but
she just doesn't have time. Maybe she just didn't have time.
well, and elves perceive relationship lengths a little bit differently from humans.
Yeah,
So
for
maybe
sure.
is this a casual thing? How long has this been going on? You don't really know, but your
I
mother
don't know.
did not
She
tell
didn't
you.
mention. She mentioned. Sorry, I'm her son. It
Oh,
This was not planned. I work for the Cobalt Soul. We were sent on a mission here. Just arrived. She doesn't know I'm coming.
I mean, that's good. Otherwise, I would be upset that she hadn't told me. Um, I'm Adakora, right? That's your name?
Yeah.
I'm Kalina. She like shakes your hand.
Nice to meet you. These are my friends and colleagues and relations.
She hasn't told you about me yet, has she?
I don't think so.
Well, I guess I'm not that surprised. She's a little bit, you know what she's like.
You
Not
know,
always the
letters.
best at talking about personal things. I mean, I've only been living here for about a year. It's pretty. Anyway, yeah, she's like, yeah, that is a short amount of time for. They like just moved in together, basically.
And I have the gall to be like, we don't perceive time differently.
Well, I'm sure she'll be very excited to see you. I mean, it's wonderful to meet you. I don't know exactly when she'll be back. I think she was uh, going to a meeting with the commander of the Watchkeepers. But
Probably should
come in.
So sorry for startling you.
She
I'm
like
laughing because it's
she
fun.
yeah she's like flustered but like not unhappy looking. Like she's just kind of like, oh, Melodora didn't tell me about her adult or didn't tell her adult son about me, and now he's just here. Like I think
I
she's.
will,
Oh, sorry.
as I'm coming in, I will introduce my companions. They're
Okay, she like greets everyone. She shakes everyone's hand. How do you introduce them? Just
just names because there's
okay,
a lot to get into.
right.
Like this is my colleague and this is our traveling companion that we met on the road. Like I'm not gonna do all that. And besides, my mom knows Antimity's name, so
Right. Yeah, you're just like this is
go.
okay. So this is Ophelia. This is Antimony. This is Sahar.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah. She shakes everyone's hands. She looks like flustered but kind of amused. Um, you think she kind of looks at you like a little bit knowingly, as if to say it's unsurprising that Melodora didn't tell her son about me, and her son didn't tell Melodora that he was visiting. Like they clearly have this, like this is a little bit of
This is the kind of thing you would expect.
this is a little bit of a family resemblance thing going on here. She's like, okay,
You have no idea.
it all makes sense.
There's a reason I didn't have time to write a letter, but it wouldn't have gotten here before me.
So did you all just arrive?
A little. It's probably been a couple of hours because we took Lenny home and got food and.
Yes, come in and sit down. You guys are in like a little hallway, and it kind of opens out. There's not a ton of rooms in here. It's pretty open, but you see some doors like farther in. But this sort of main room has a big hearth. It's burning, but it's kind of low at a low heat, like just sort of to keep the house warm, basically. It's not like roaring. And then you see there's cabinets and stuff. There's pots and pans hanging on the wall. You see some things of your mother's lying around, like shoes, extra quiver. There's some like a little work table with like some arrows on it that are like half made. And there's a big round wooden table. And Kalina like beckons you all over and is like, "Come on, sit down, sit down."
I will go. I will stop.
There are only 4 chairs at the table, but she like goes into another room and hunts around and finds another chair. So she could sit down with the 4 of you.
I was ready to just like stand and let her have the chair, but I suppose.
Nope, there are sufficient chairs. You, Adakor, you also notice this table is the same one that your mother had the last time you were here. Yeah, exactly. The table's the same. But these chairs are all you don't recognize them. They're wooden and they're very beautiful. The chairs you had before were just like kind of, basic chairs, but these are like pretty intricately carved. And they look fairly new. And yeah, they're very beautiful. You do not recognize them.
I'm just gonna make an educated guess and and say, "Is this your work?"
Oh yes,
This is lovely.
She like self-consciously like brushes some of the wood shavings off of her clothing. I'm so sorry. I was upstairs in the workshop. Sorry, I'm a complete mess. Yes.
We've been on the road for a week, so
Do you want some tea or wine or water or cider?
God, it's so awkward.
Lists every drink she has in the house.
No, thank you. We just ate. We are fed and watered.
All right. Well, you said you came here for the Cobalt Soul? What did they send you here to do?
There was a scholar from Baseus Teal, Eleni, no last name, and
None of these elves have last names. I know
I don't have a last name.
some of Matt's elves do, I realized, but like I'm so used to Tolkien elves just like not having last names, so I didn't give a single elf a last name. If you guys want to change that, you totally can, but for now
I didn't give me a last name.
Right, yeah, if you ever feel like it, that's cool, but for now I'm like, Baseus Teal elves just don't have last names.
Yeah.
Except for the council, the Ring of Three inexplicably have last names because Matt named them.
But they're fancy, so they're allowed.
Yeah.
I just basically, what was I saying?
Eleni.
And she wanted to get back to the city before the snows came. So it seemed like a good idea to send her with an escort.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to travel all the way from Rexentrum. That's where the Cobalt's always based, right?
Yeah, the main archive.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to travel all the way from Rexentrum to here, well, at any time of year by myself.
Yeah, we got into a few scrapes on the way, but everyone made it in one piece.
That's good. Melidor will love to hear all about it, I'm sure. What do you do for the soul? She kind of looks at all of you. Do you all work there? I know it's in an archive, but that's about the extent of my knowledge, I'm afraid.
Well, I know Ophelia's not going to talk.
I kind of look at Sahar to, like, because I'm not sure if she wants to pretend that she's part of our group or.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
was gonna leave that up to her. I will lie
Yeah,
for her
yeah.
if she doesn't want to say anything, but we didn't ask before.
You sure didn't. She didn't think about it either, so. Sahar is not very good at lying, you have learned.
Um,
She's like blue screening a little bit. Like Sahara looks like her brain maybe shut down for a second just now. She's like, oh shit, I don't have a fucking cover story, do I? Like, so she doesn't look
that's
like
her own fault.
no, it totally is. But she doesn't look ready to talk yet.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm a researcher and a field agent, and Ophelia is a cleric and a researcher, and Antimony does some freelance work, and Sahar's been traveling with us, doing some sorting.
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 Field sorting.
She kind of clears her throat a little and is like, yes, I don't. I'm not a member of the Cobalt Soul, but I was hired just as some extra protection for this journey. And yeah, Kalina's like, oh, all right. And so you took the person that you were guarding. You brought her home and everything. So you just planned to visit for a little while.
Yeah, the idea was to stay for a few days before immediately charging back into the world of giant spiders and wild boar.
Giant spiders. I mean, I've heard all about them from your mother, but I've never seen one, thankfully.
Yeah, a little nasty.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to stay as long as you like, of course.
Is there room? Like, full disclosure, I didn't know you were going to be here, so so now I
says.
feel a little bad.
I think, well, I use part of the upstairs for my workshop, but there's a loft area with, we could convert it into sleeping room easily. We don't have, there's only the one extra bed in your old bedroom, I believe it is,
Right.
and which is down here on the main floor. As you would know, that's the only extra bed we've got, but I'm sure we can, just find a bunch of pillows and blankets and sort of pile them up there if that would be all right with all of you.
Well, Ophelia and I are used to sleeping in dorms in a monastery, so I think we'll make do.
It'll be more comfortable than camping in the forest, at least. Do you plan to do any sightseeing or anything while you're here too? It's been a while since you visited, hasn't it? She says to
It
Elakora.
has. It's been almost a decade.
Yes, I thought it was before I met Melodora. Yes.
Once I joined the Soul, I was traveling less until recently, so.
Oh, of course. I mean, I know you.
Me out. A bit.
I know you wrote to each other frequently.
Yep. The last letter I wrote might not even have arrived yet. I forget when I said that was. So
I don't remember either. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty recent, but I kind of forgot
yeah.
also. I remember Antimony writing a letter to her mom, but that was like last session.
Mhm.
And it was definitely before that. Okay, yeah. Kalina is like, so I mean, you're perfectly welcome to stay here until your mother gets back. I don't know when exactly that will be. If you want, you can also just, you know, see more of the city, or take your friends to see more of the city, and I'll let her know as soon as she arrives that you're here. You can leave all of your things here, of course, if you decide to walk around.
Sure. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. Thank you.
Probably a little better than just sitting here twiddling our thumbs until she comes back and we do this all over again.
Yeah.
I would think so too if it were me. I do have to return to my workshop at some point. I'm in the middle of some things, but if you wanted to stay here and rest, of course you could.
No, we can leave.
How filthy are we? Are we?
You're pretty gross.
Yeah.
I don't remember you guys. I mean, it was a little cold to like wash in a river. So
Yeah.
you probably washed like your faces and your hands, and that was about it on that trip.
Unless someone has a spell that's useful for this.
I don't think anyone does.
You know what? No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't have prestidigitation in this world.
I guess I could have made water for us, but
where I'm going with this is, I wouldn't mind washing up a little. But
Oh, of course.
but don't feel like you have to stick around here if you've got work to get to.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to use anything in the house. You probably still know where everything is for the most part. None of the rooms have changed use or anything.
There's just a bathroom that's moved halfway across. Just switched
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, there's like a I mean, they don't have like running water here really, but there's probably like there's probably a little room that just like has a basin of clean water in it usually and like soap and stuff. And there's a bathtub in there that you could like fill with water completely if you wanted to, but that would, take time.
Yeah, we could. You can create water, Ophelia. We could soap
You
up
guys
and change clothes.
I don't know that every like house has a well necessarily, but they're sort of like neighborhood ones. Like there's one around here. And then I think you probably also what individual houses have is probably like rain barrel situations. Like you have kind of a reservoir of water out in the backyard that you can just use for, you know, washing or cooking if you boil it or whatever. So, but yeah, you can create water. But yeah, Kalina is like, yes, whatever we have is you are absolutely welcome to it. If you need anything, you can just come upstairs. I'll just be up there working.
Thank you. And it's nice to meet you.
You too, all of you. And then she heads back upstairs.
That was horrible.
I feel like it could have been much worse.
That's true.
I think Sahar says that. She's like, yeah. I mean, she seems very nice.
I feel like we just like invaded a personal private area and moment, and now like this whole environment is going to be awkward for the rest of the trip.
I mean, I lived here half of my life, so I'm pretty sure I'll get over it. Worse things have happened here.
What are those?
Oh God. And this is Adakora. What did he get up to as a kid? I'm sure practicing with weapons caused lots of destruction of property.
Oh yeah.
Lots of that.
Yep, you got some minor injuries too from like playing around with knives.
Yeah.
But that's never been
happen by itself.
Yep. And that was never a huge problem though, like because your mom has some healing abilities, some magical healing abilities as she is a ranger. And yeah, she's like a ranger, like D&D mechanics wise, she's a ranger, so she knows some magic.
Yeah.
Is your mom?
And then back when my parents were together,
They had some very loud fights in this room.
Oh wow. Is your mom like Cool.
Yes.
She said she was like gonna talk to like the leaders or whatever. Is she like important? Are you royalty?
Would you believe me if I said yes?
No. Well, maybe.
Well, that's good because you need to learn when people are lying. But
Oh, excuse me. How dare
she's a
you?
watchkeeper. She's a watchkeeper. She patrols the walls and.
She's probably more effective than those Crownsguard we saw in. Where was that place? Blumenthal?
If you bring that up with her, you will have no shortage of conversation.
Maybe I will. I'll figure out a way to get you to say it and not me.
I already know it.
Yeah, but you can tell her and then you guys can have the conversation.
And at a core, I think we talked about this a little bit, but you know, your mother has been in the Watchkeeper since like well before you were born. Not well before, because she was pretty young when you were born, but like that's been her job for like her whole life basically. And at this point, she is like a very like respected, like pretty senior member, and she does a lot of training of new recruits. That's like her main thing these days.
Yeah. My mom's pretty cool.
And then your dad is like a weirdo? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow.
Dad has his own talents.
What are those?
Writing.
Writing what?
Books.
About what?
He's dabbled in a lot of genres over the years. He's been a mystery novelist.
Does he write serial romances?
Oh,
No.
definitely not. No.
And somebody make a deception check.
Where's my deception bonus? Okay. 11.
7?
11.
Oh.
Roll insight check for me.
Okay. I want to perceive this. 11 plus 6, 17.
Oh yeah. And Timmy is lying.
Are they a little risque? These serial... No, these... What did I say they were? Serial
Romance novels?
romances?
Serial romance novels, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never read any of them.
Is that true?
I've never
Yeah, is
read
that
like
true?
Dad's romance novels. That
I
is
mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's totally up to you. Me as the DM is curious if that's true or not.
I do not read smut written by my father.
No, okay.
Like he already gave me a sex talk. That was bad enough.
That's true.
Is he like a household name? Have I seen his name in the Cobalt Soul archives?
Like,
Or in the little like Pulp
the
Fiction books?
section.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't use his name. Thank God.
What name does he use?
Just dead silence.
What name does he use? If I promise not to look for them, will you tell me?
How sincere is your promise?
Sincere enough to get you to tell me?
Pinky promise. Pinky swear.
I can't do that.
Let's do that.
Cast Zone of Truth right now on yourself and promise.
I can't do that, Adakora. Antimony, you're reasonable. What do you know the name?
How popular is our father?
Well, I mean, okay, I think you said he's written under a couple of different names, depending on like the genre and the era, because he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
A century or so. I mean, I only know one of his books, so if he like in romance circles, he's probably pretty well
Probably.
popular.
Yeah.
By his current romance novel pen name.
Alias. Yeah.
If you were to go to a store that specialized in romance, you would probably find some of his books.
I think Ophelia reads like mystery and murder novels and like thrillers and stuff. If she like lists off names of authors that like their biographies have said they're elven, will one of them cringe?
I mean, he did go through a period where he wrote a lot of murder mysteries,
He
He
did.
did.
so it's very possible that you've read some of those.
I'm like, is it this guy? Is it that guy?
Does
One
she-
point I feel like we're like, oh, actually that was him.
That wasn't him. Wait, so all the other ones were him? I don't think his writing is very good if those were all him. Not to like judge your dad or anything.
Yeah, his mysteries were not his best work.
I'm gonna just write a note here to like look for romance novels.
and just name drop the authors to see if your friends look uncomfortable.
Yeah. Only Adakora has to look uncomfortable. Antimony can stay out of it. Honestly, I feel like I can see why, like, based on just this small tidbit, I can see why maybe your mom and your dad aren't together.
Thanks, I hadn't figured that one out.
Antimony, is your mom cool?
I mean, in a business way, I guess.
In a business way, what does she do?
Well, my mom's family are like mining guild big shots, I guess.
Are they rich?
They're kind of rich.
That's pretty cool. Are they like rich in like a clean way, or are they rich in like vaguely seedy undertones kind of way.
Oh my god.
Well, it depends on the branch of the family, but
The branch of the family. What's your branch?
I mean, my mom's pretty cool.
If we go to her house in the future, will she put us on a quest to like end half of your family line and like salvage the family name?
You never know.
Kate's like writing down notes. I guess we should get out of here.
I
Or
still want
get
I still
clean.
want to wash up.
Yeah, me too, says Sahar. I think I was in the forest a little bit longer than you guys were.
How does Sahar seem to have observed this conversation?
With interest. Like she just watched and was very quiet.
Sahar's learning so much so fast.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and she is not asking any questions because she does not want to be observed.
Same, Sahar. Is there like, I know this is like your house or anything, but or something, but is there like a bathhouse or like, I don't know, it feels weird to have like all of us just taking turns or whatever.
You know what? Yes, there's a bathhouse because I want to have a bathhouse.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They have fucking warm streets. I'm sure they could have a warm bathhouse.
A nice like steam room area.
Yeah.
Oh, go to a bathhouse.
Hell
That's
yeah.
probably also at the center of town.
We
and-
pass by your mom on the way and we're like, oh hey, don't look at us. Look at us once we're clean.
Yeah, it's maybe not like in the central square, but it's like kind of near that area because it's like a community building. And it is, of course, on the ground. They do not have a floating tree bathhouse. But yeah, I think it's probably just over like a natural spring, and the water is like kept hot by magic. And yeah, there's like it's probably like Roman bathhouse-esque. Like there's the hot pool and the cold pool and the steam room and like stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Let's go get like some clean clothes and clean bodies, and then we'll be ready for anything. Even for revealing the name of your dad's romance novels.
that's totally their biggest secret. Okay, so how much are you guys going to leave most of your stuff here?
I think Ophelia would leave
Oh.
most of her stuff just like in a corner somewhere.
Okay, yeah, there's kind of an obvious spot to leave it. Like there's a little area by the door that's got like shoes and some other random stuff that you might take outside piled up. And yeah, Sahar is going to leave her her weapons, her shield. I think she's going to take off most of her armor.
We can like put most of the all of the dirty clothes or whatever that we want to wash just in the bag of holding, and then that's a lightweight method of transportation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can probably get your clothes washed at the bathhouse.
Hell yeah.
I'll say, 'cause that's nice. And yeah, the bathhouse is mostly for locals. Atacora, you know this.
Is it like they only admit you if you have a local driver's license, or?
No, anybody can go there. It probably, I don't know that it like costs money to go to the bath, but to like get your clothes washed, that probably costs money. But it is really kind of like a community service, almost. They might have like capacity rules, like if there's too many people in there, they'll be like, come back later. But yeah, you don't. But you went there, you know, many times when you were living here, and you've never seen a non-elf in the bathhouse.
Well, this should be fun.
Am I elf passing enough to be allowed in?
I don't know if we established that or not. I think we said that Eleni could kind of tell that you were part human.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, Sahar in particular is like very visibly not an elf.
Yeah.
And I think even with your hood up, Ophelia, people can kind of tell.
It's okay.
But there are no actual rules about who is allowed in and who is not. It's just like the non-elven people who live here do not come to the bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. At least you've never seen them do so. Okay, so you bring. Do you all leave your like weapons and stuff behind?
No.
Okay.
My like my visible weapons and stuff behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Sahar is just gonna leave like really all of her like fighting shit behind. But her armor is pretty heavy, so it would be pretty weird if she wore it into a bathhouse. Okay, so you dump a bunch of your gear, and then you take your clothing in the bag of holding and head off to the bathhouse. Right? Yeah, so you go back to the center of town. It's a very it's like a little bit off to the side of the square, kind of on the opposite side of the guards training field and the guardhouse, the watchkeeper's guardhouse. It's a very like naturalistic looking building, like it extra blends in to the trees even more than some of the other buildings. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. You notice that there are crowns guard, not like outside of the doors to the bathhouse, but they're kind of like hanging around the building. not hanging around in like a furtive way, like they're sort of posted on either side of the building, although not like standing in any way obstructing the door. And they don't like approach you or anything. They just kind of stand there and watch. But you can enter. There's no like lock or anything. You just go into a little waiting area. And there's a woman there who greets you and is like offers to take your stuff and everything. Like points out the changing rooms. She looks a little like her eyes kind of visibly widen as she sees everyone except Adakora. Basically, she's kind of like has a visible reaction to it, but doesn't say anything. She just keeps, talking and sort of ushers you into the changing rooms.
I did warn all you guys that elves aren't used to outsiders, or Mrs. Steel elves. Yeah, let's go get out of these dirty clothes.
All right. And yeah, she's like, yeah, if you want your clothes washed, it's this much money. You can put them in this hamper, kind of, yeah.
I do that. Shirt off.
Just like right here?
You're in a changing. Yeah, you go into. There's a
Okay.
hamper in the changing room where you can like leave your clothes. The changing room has little stalls and stuff, and probably like cubbies where you can leave things that don't need to be washed.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not putting my jacket in the hamper because it's leather.
Right.
But the rest of it can go. And I'll put my, and along with that, I'll put my dagger and my dagger and my dagger and my dagger and my rapier and my short bow and my quiver,
Yeah.
one arrows and the other arrows, and
My dagger and my dagger and my dagger and my dagger and my dagger.
maybe I'll keep one dagger in the bath with me, just in case.
Okay. I think there's probably a sign somewhere that's like no weapons in the bath. I don't think they allow that. Either she told you that when she saw your weapons, or there's a sign.
Fine.
So you can try to hide it, but it's not allowed.
Well, if I'm going in basically naked, not a lot of places.
Right. I was like, how much clothing are you planning to wear into the bath?
I love the fantasy gag of pulling weapons out of your ass as much as anybody, but
Right. I don't want to think about it for real. You know. God, I just thought about the iconic image from early Critical Role 2 of Yasha sitting in the bathtub completely naked with her sword,
Yes.
just like leaning on her greatsword in the tub. Incredible.
Oh, yeah. They couldn't say no to her.
Nope. Yeah, well, they might have just had a different weapons policy. Or they didn't want to ask her. But yeah, this place doesn't have any like private rooms or anything like that. It's just like communal baths.
Yeah.
And they're big. A lot of people can fit in here. You see a few people. It's not super busy at this time of day because it's like mid-morning still. But there are people in the baths. It's a co-ed bath. There are also towels available. You don't have to bring your own towels. They probably have soap.
I show no hesitation. I would like to take a bath.
Hell yeah. Take it. All right. How's everyone else doing?
In
I guess.
hindsight, I don't want to be here. There's people, and I'm just one person. There should be like a curtained area where I can chill. I don't want to be perceived.
I mean, you can. The only like curtained off areas are the little stalls in the dressing room, so you could stay in there if you really wanted to. But
I'll go out, but I'll hate it the whole time.
Is the water, how clear is the water? Is it like once you're underneath you can't really see, or more like a
probably, yeah, I think it's probably like. Yeah, it's probably got like, I don't know, like healthy minerals and salts and shit in it. Does that make sense? Like it's a little cloudy because it has like
yeah.
stuff in it.
I guess that's alright.
Kind of like a, I don't know, hot springs are kind of like that, right?
I don't know from personal experience, but I can
I don't
Google
either.
Yeah.
And it's warm. This is the one of the warm bath areas. It's not a steam room or anything, but it's a warm pool.
Yeah. I just scrub down. I don't have any tragic backstory scars to hide. I have like the normal amount of scars.
Yep.
Same. Just in and out.
Okay, and it's clearly like you can wash here, but you can also kind of chill. Like there are benches built in along the sides, like you know, in hot tubs or whatever. Like you can
Mhm.
sit down in the pool and just like relax. That's what most people in here are doing. There are like a couple of other small groups that are like hanging out along the edge of the pool, just chatting. Yeah, Sahar has, it's kind of similar to Adakor. She just has some like assorted scars that she probably got while practicing with a sword. Nothing too gnarly. But yeah, she gets in the water and like just like goes under for a while and kind of soaks. And then she gets some soap and starts washing.
Does Antimony enjoy the baths?
I mean, it's nice to not be dirty.
That's true.
I'm just gonna like sink under the water, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the other people here, like, they don't stare at you because that would be rude, but they like all kind of glance at your in your direction and maybe give you like a sort of weird look, but then they turn back to whatever
Mhm.
they were doing because it is bad manners to stare at someone else in the bath.
Have you guys ever been in a bathhouse before?
Have I? I don't know.
I feel like they're common in the Dwendalian Empire because Matt keeps having the characters go to them. Like they've gone to like 3 different bathhouses in 3 separate towns, so I feel like they're not uncommon, right? Like Trostenwald has one,
Yeah.
and then there's the one that everyone is that one in Trostenwald too? What's the one that they all go to together? Is that in Zadash? It might be.
I think it was in Zadash.
And then they definitely also go to one in, or at least Ford goes to one in Rexentrum, or he goes to like a spa or something.
Yeah.
When they had some downtime in Rexentrum, he just went to the fucking spa. So you've probably been to one, but it's I mean, you also like grew up in a nice enough household that it was fairly easy to bathe at home.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a huge burden because like your family probably had like a few servants and you definitely had a bathtub and a large like enough space for to have a room for your bathtub to be in like it's so you probably did most of your bathing at home rather than like needing to rely on the bathhouse, but you probably went.
I'm like used to communal bathing, I guess. It's just been a while. Well, not really. It's just weird to be here. I don't know.
Most bathhouses probably have private rooms, but like you have to pay extra. So
Yeah.
most
not
of
that
this place
motivated.
doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
This place doesn't have any. Sahara looks comfortable enough. Like she doesn't seem embarrassed or anything. She's just washing her disgusting hair, which is full of dirt. Do you guys feel like having a bathhouse conversation, or would you like to skip ahead?
I want to go see how hot Adekar's mom is.
Okay. Okay. All right, great. So you spend some time here. You get clean. You feel amazing after the last like 5 days of just fighting more than you had expected and sleeping on the ground and being dirty. God. So yeah, you're it helps your sore muscles. You feel clean. It's pretty good. And you find your clothes are oh my god. Your clothes are probably ready. I don't know. Maybe they have magical drying or whatever. You have to wait around for another like 20 minutes and then your clothes are ready.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can I assume you all brought like changes of clothes too, so
Yes.
like a change
Yep.
of clothes on this trip.
Yeah, probably like identical robes, but still.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right.
How cobalt sold out are you?
The regular amount.
Okay, so not like I'm pretending I'm not with the Cobalt Soul.
No.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering. Just curious. Yeah, Sahar has she left, or the like tabard that she was wearing, the kind of ratty red tabard, got washed, but she puts it away. And she's just wearing like pretty nondescript clothing. And her cloak. I bet the Cobalt Soul also has a communal bathing situation. It's just probably smaller.
Yeah.
And it's probably oh, sorry.
Ophelia likes to go when there's usually like lesser traffic.
Yeah, and I don't think people hang out there either. Like, it is really like
Yeah.
you go there to wash and then you go do whatever you were doing. It's less of a social event. But here, yeah, here it is. It's really like a pretty social thing in your experience at Akora. But yeah, you guys are all clean and you can head back to the house. It's probably a little bit after noon by this time, I'll say, so you're probably getting hungry again. Probably. They were probably like, they're quiet and businesslike.
You know, I probably would have splashed him at least once.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head back to the house, hoping that Melodora has returned. It's like 1 p.m. ish, we'll say. Oh, sorry. The house looks the same. There's still some smoke coming out of the chimney. But yeah, this time you knock on the door again, and it is opened very quickly by a woman who's very familiar to you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I will post my Melodora fan cast.
The right one this time.
The correct woman. Where's the picture? But yeah, you see the rest of you see a tall elven woman. She's almost the same height as Adakora. She's wearing a guard uniform, basically like the same thing that you've seen the other watchkeepers wearing. Her hair is braided. Where's this picture that I want? Her hair is braided like along her scalp and then like down into a bunch of little tiny braids and kind of draped over one of her shoulders. Yeah, and if she were a human, um, to those of you who perceive human ages, she looks like she might be in like her early 40s, maybe, but like a very good looking early 40s. Let's see. Okay, but yeah, she's wearing like she's not wearing clothes like this. She's wearing very like practical clothing and her guard uniform and no jewelry or anything. But yeah, she she opens the door very quickly. Oh no. That's the problem with elves too, is that they're just always hot. They stay hot forever.
Stay out forever. Isn't that just the way?
Sometimes, yep. Yeah, she looks out at all of you, does not look surprised at all.
Hi, Mom.
Adakora, and she just like hugs you.
Yay. I hug back.
You really didn't tell me you were coming.
A letter would not have arrived before I did.
Well, you'll have to tell me everything. What brought you here on such short notice? And she like she kind of like beckons everybody inside, very like in sort of a business like fashion. She's like, all right, everybody inside.
So for the second time, it's there was a scholar from here, and we escorted her home because she wanted to get here before the snows again for the second time. And this is Ophelia, this is Sahar, and this is Antimony.
She's listening to everything, but she makes all of you sit down. She just kind of like gestures to all the chairs. Kalina, you don't see. She's probably still upstairs if you had to guess. But clearly
Kalina already went through this once.
Yeah. Kalina's like, I'm gonna just let you and your son say hello before I come hang out with both of you. But yeah, while you're talking, she's like busy around the kitchen. She's getting like drinks and stuff out. She makes tea. She gets out water and cider and like fruit wine, and just like puts everything on the table and is getting out like cups and dishes and things and warming up some food that was maybe made like earlier in the day or something. It's like, all right, are you all hungry? I haven't eaten lunch yet.
We could probably eat. We met Kalina.
She told me.
Yeah, I'm sorry for startling your girlfriend. She also startled me, though, so to be perfectly fair.
Well, if you'd sent word ahead,
would you have told me about your girlfriend?
Of course I would have. It's yes. Look, if I'd known you were coming, I would have told you. She's been living here for about a year, so
it's going well then?
Yes. I've only known her for about 6 years. So, how's your father?
How is that? Same with her. Oh, Oh, same. Still in Druvenload. Still writing. And I look at Ophelia like, don't you dare. Fuck that.
Oh man. Yeah, Melodora doesn't really react to that. She just kind of nods, like, "All right, sure," you know,
There's
about
that
what I expected. Yeah, he's doing the exact same thing he was doing last time I checked in on him.
Yes.
And yeah, this whole time she hasn't really stopped moving. Like she's just doing stuff and like giving you. She's like ladling out bowls of stew or whatever and pouring drinks and stuff. And she's getting some for herself as well. And then she goes and finds another chair somewhere, um, and then calls up the stairs. We're ready to eat. And then Kalina also comes down the stairs like a minute or so later, brushing wood shavings off of her clothing, looking a little nervous. Yeah, you have just been like officially. It's lunchtime. There were no questions. You were just given lunch and sat down. And yeah, Melodora like takes off her sort of armor, the armor pieces of her uniform, and then sits down with all of you.
I start telling her about the trip because I know she'd want to hear about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. She definitely
the boars and the owl bears and the spiders.
Yeah, she definitely takes an interest in all of this, and she's kind of like offering her professional opinion about the wildlife. She's like, we have been having more spider problems than usual. I'm not sure what it is.
Did we identify the spider that blinked and stuff after we killed it? Or were we just like, that was weird?
I don't remember.
Remember if we figured out what it was. I remember I took like poison from it.
Oh, you did. I think I told you what it was, yeah, or I told you what kind of poison it was, and that had the name of the spider in it.
Mm.
If you didn't share that, I will ask her what about the weird spider that.
Yeah. It's called a phase spider.
Yeah.
It's in the maps and handouts. But yeah, so you tell her about the spider, and yeah, she like identifies it. She's like, "Oh yeah, those are pretty rare." Blah, blah, blah. Just like goes on this long description of, phase spider habits and territory, and like what they eat and when they've been a problem and stuff like that. But you made it here in one piece. That's good.
Happy about it myself.
So the soul has you doing more than just working in the archives these days.
Yeah, it's a recent development.
Are you excited about it?
It's good to be traveling again.
It's good that you're putting those skills to use too. You gotta stay sharp.
Stationary target practice only does so much.
Yeah, she like grins at you. That's right. I doubt you're doing much hunting in the capital.
No. People frown on it when you kill their pets. So
that was probably how she taught you to shoot moving targets, was like hunting.
Oh, it was like by shooting people's pets.
No, like hunting animal. She's like, you're not leaving town to yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stew is very like classic Busaeus teal. Like it's like venison and root vegetables and stuff. Like that's pretty much, stuff that doesn't need too much sunlight to grow and also game.
I'm reasonably sure that Sahar was like talking about wishing for boar, so there are no vegetarians among us.
Yeah, nobody in Visayas Teal really is because that's like hunting is such a big source of food.
Yeah, vegetarians in Fantasyland are like Caduceus.
Right, yeah. But yeah, you get through the story of the journey this way, and it's like mostly you and Melodora talking. Kalina doesn't really say anything. She's just kind of observing your conversation. She like smiles sometimes. Um, she seems to be getting a little more comfortable, but she's kind of like, you know, she had a weird day. Um, but once she gets that whole like story out of you, Melodora turns to your friends and is like, "So, tell me about yourselves."
They love to talk about themselves. It's their favorite thing.
I'm trying to decide if she definitely doesn't know what antimony looks like, but
Well, I said this is Antimony, so
Okay.
I've written enough about her, like
right. I feel like the name would,
yeah.
but you did, yeah. But it was kind of quick, so I don't know that she's like fully been like, oh yeah, your sister. Antimony. At least she hasn't said anything. If she has, yeah, you can't really tell if she recognized who Antimony was or not.
Okay. So if I getting that sense that as she's asking like if she's asking them, I will probably say what's the least awkward way to
I,
to just be like, well, this is Antimony, my sister.
Melodora looked. She was looking at all three of you. Like she wasn't focused on just Antimony. She was like kind of eyeing Sahar and Ophelia as well, especially since they're so quiet. But yeah, you get the full like intense Melodora gaze.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I just thought that would be better than you being like, oh yeah, I'm the other child. You know?
Yeah, you get the full like Melodora once over, I guess. Like she just kind of like it's a very, neutral expression. Like she doesn't look at all upset or disapproving, but you get like a long, thorough look. Um and she says, Adakor has told me all about you, of course, in his letters. It's nice to finally meet you. I didn't know you were with the Cobalt Soul. I thought you were going to school in Rexentrum.
yeah, well, there was I guess there was kind of a change of plans, but I'm doing some freelancing work right now.
What sort of work?
Mostly engineering expertise, I suppose.
Interesting. How long have the two of you been working together then?
how long have we been working together?
You and Adakora, like
You
a
came back-
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
A little longer than. Well, it's not. That's not how long it's been since you were officially hired, but you came along to Upper Duke just because
That's true.
Just
Yeah.
for fun, yeah.
we were counting from there. It's probably like how long has it been since the campaign started? Like
I don't know.
a couple of
Maybe
months.
a month? I don't think it's been a few months. I'll try to figure out how long it's been.
I feel like with the downtime between missions, it might be 2 months, but
It might be,
my
yeah.
sense of time is very whacked up in all universes.
Yeah, there was you didn't have a ton of downtime between most of these, but there were definitely like a few days in there, I think, yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll say it's been like 2-ish months. I'll try to figure it out later when I have time. Okay, I have a question for Adakora out of game.
Yeah.
Did you? I know you had mentioned Honolora to your mother in letters. Did you stop doing that later, or did you kind of say like, "Oh yeah, we're friends now"?
Yeah, no, I definitely told her that too.
Okay.
Because otherwise, so that something like this conversation didn't happen, and
Yeah. So you didn't give her the impression that you'd like stopped speaking to her.
no.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. What is she gonna ask? Yeah, Melodora is like not someone who gets embarrassed necessarily. Like she's just very straightforward. She kind of like nods at this, like 2 months, whatever, and then she says, to Antimony, "How's your mother?"
Um, I want to insight check this to see like if this is like a genuine
Okay.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Insight 18.
Okay. Yeah, she's not insincere. She's probably like part of her is like actively curious, part of her is like trying to make conversation,
Right.
part of her like wants to know how you'll react a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not like a pointed question or anything, and it's not
Right.
like, you know,
Okay.
she's sort of making small talk, but she also is kind of curious.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I'll just be like, well, I mean, I haven't been home in a little while, but she was well last I heard.
Druvelnot's not far from the capital, is it? Not too far, anyway.
It's let's see, how far away is it?
It's not very far.
Yeah, no, I probably
Blumenthal distance.
like a
It's
day's
a little
worth of
farther than
travel.
Blumenthal, maybe, but
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Easier for both of you to visit than it is for Adakor to come here.
Yeah, I suppose so.
She looks over to Ophelia and Sahar.
Oh, what was the question? Or
Well, she
whatever?
had asked all of you earlier, like, tell me about yourselves, and now she kind of looks back at you two expectantly.
I think out of all of us, I'm probably the one that's closest. Um, the most affiliated to the Cobalt Soul. I'm like studying under one of the clerics there, and eventually, planning on being kind of cool myself.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, you're also getting the full like Melodora gaze. She's kind of taking you in. You have your holy symbol and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of always have those on? Okay. You're a cleric of Ioun, then? And she kind of gestures toward the symbol.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Cobalt Soul? Are you happy there?
Yeah. I appreciate their attempt at being unbiased regarding information, especially considering the environment that they usually are surrounded in.
You mean the capital?
Yeah, and just like generally all of the Empire.
Well, I'm sure you're right about that. Probably steeped in the propaganda of Rexentrum.
Yeah. But
Look how my face is like, oh god, here we go.
Ophelia, like, I'm trying to. What is the fucking meme where it's like, I'm dropping hints that I'm anti-empire, and then like I'm anti-empire. I'm trying to drop hints to Adakora's mom that I'm anti-empire.
Yeah, it's nice to be in an institution that directly opposes some of that information when they can.
Well, I'm glad there's something like that in the heart of the Empire. And you said that she kind of nods to Adakora. You said you were escorting a scholar from Biseus Teal, who had been studying with the Cobalt Soul.
Yes. Eleni was looking into Empire accounts of Maleismere.
Interesting. Not something I know much about myself, but if the scholars here have a high enough opinion of the Cobalt Soul that they'll send their own to study there, then I suppose it's not the worst place for you to be working, says to Adakora.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
God. I know. Um, Ophelia, I can't remember. Does Ophelia have like a little accent? I think we kind of said she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of French-ish.
Sorry, I'm reading the posts. Okay, yeah, she kind of she looks back to Ophelia and she says, "Are you from the Empire? I don't recognize your accent, but of course, it's a large place. I'm sure there are regional accents that I wouldn't recognize."
I am from the Menagerie Coast. I started working in the Port de Mali archives and then got transferred here a while back.
So the Cobalt Soul has bases in other countries as well.
We take, I guess, pride in not being strictly of one nation. We consider ourselves to be fairly impartial. We have one base on, or one archive on the other continent. What's that one?
Tal'Dorei.
Yeah, on Tal'Dorei, and then we have the one in Port de Mali, and then we have two in Rexentrum. No, two in the Empire.
Interesting. She turns her gaze back to Sahar, who is just kind of like looks like she's thinking very hard, like trying to get her story straight, perhaps. Oh, also you, Adakor, you've probably mentioned Ophelia in your letters too.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Okay, so yeah, so Melidora has like heard of Ophelia and Antimony, but not Sahar.
Sahar's new edition.
Yeah, she's like, so she really like zeroes in on Sahar now. My son has mentioned the other two to me in letters, but not you. Do you work with him as well?
Sorry at Sahar when I'm not when my mom's not looking.
What? Oh. Sahar's like,
Like, sorry, you're being put on the spot and I can't help you.
Sahar like nervously kind of clears her throat. Well, I met him only recently. I am not actually a member of the Cobalt Soul. I'm just a guard. I was hired to help escort them to Baseus Teal. Melidora's kind of like squinting at her a little. Like not quite suspiciously, but a little bit like, okay. Well, thank you for helping him reach the city safely. Of course. Your city is very beautiful. Melidora is still looking kind of like very, very serious. She's not smiling or anything. Nods. Thank you. I know Kalina has already told all of you that you're welcome to stay here, which of course you are.
Thank you.
Probably I'll probably be in and out at odd hours. There's a lot going on at the moment among the watchkeepers, and well, the Crown's Guard and the Watchmaster and the Starosta, and I won't bore you with all of that. The city might not be as large as Rexentrum, but we have our share of political going on.
Yeah, we were wondering, or at least I was, what might have changed.
Well, I suppose news of the war in the East probably reached you before it reached me.
Hmm.
I suppose the capital must be in a bit of an uproar.
You could say that.
It's a bit quieter here. We've had some shuffling around in the Crown's Guard, the ranks of the Crown's Guard, some of them leaving. We've had, well, trade has been slower coming into the city, and more is leaving. Not that Visayas Teal has ever been a great sort of source of material resources for the crown. This is a harsh land. But they demand something. And lately they've demanded a little more. What unrest there has been quiet mostly. Among the people, among the guards. I don't know how long it will stay quiet, though.
Does it seem like she's reluctant to talk about this?
Make it a check.
12.
Okay. I mean, you know her pretty well, also, so like, she's not that hard to read. She's not someone who is like shy about her opinion being perceived, at least. And she doesn't seem, she seems a little reluctant, but more in the like, not so much in the sense of like she wants this to be kept secret, but she's sort of reluctant to like make it the topic of conversation at lunch.
Okay.
And like, you know, go off on this sort of slightly grim rant while you're all
it's
eating.
Not fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's not. She's like, he doesn't really need to hear about this. Like, this is kind of, you know, this is like my work bullshit. And he doesn't even live here anymore, you know, that kind of.
Right.
But she doesn't seem like she's trying to hide anything necessarily for like secrecy reasons.
Secrecy Reasons is the name of my band.
God. Your band with Honolora. Secrecy reasons. But yeah, if you don't like ask any more questions about it, she's probably just gonna kind of leave the topic.
This doesn't seem like the time. We'll let it. Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely looks like she's mad. You know, you can tell this is like stuff that she's legit angry about. Um, and that there's probably more she hasn't specifically told you.
Mm.
But yeah, she kind of breaks off of that after she's silent for a moment, and then how are your other friends in the city?
Oh, I mean, they're fine. They're good.
Do you still talk to that girl?
I'd say she has to be more specific, but I do know exactly.
You know, she knows you know.
I know more than one girl, but yes.
Yeah, but the other two are right here, so.
Girls, you know.
Girls, you know, three. Two of them in this room. That's not actually true, but
That's not true. I have other friends.
the girls that you mention.
Yeah, probably not a lot of other people I've talked about by name a ton.
Right.
Not that I've talked about Hannelore by name a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
Recently in the last 10 years.
Right. She seems to be trying to change the subject, like, actively. So she just, like, picked out something that she was like, this is something we haven't talked about in a while.
For her, it's changing the subject. For
Right,
me, it's
exactly. Exactly.
not.
I mean, I don't want to bother you about your love life or anything, but
You're
you
sure?
you haven't dated anyone recently, as far as I know. At least you haven't talked about them.
Nope. Footloose, fancy free.
And is that all right? Do you mind it?
It's fine.
Your mom, like,
I've got plenty to do. It's not. And you know, lots of time.
Of course. I think elves are like pretty chill about that too. Like they don't, you know, yeah, they live a long time.
I've always I feel like his parents got together pretty fast.
They
pretty young.
did, yeah. And it did not work out. So no, she's just trying to like dig out the gossip about your life that
Right.
she can't like. 'Cause it's definitely easier to pry information out of you in person than in letters.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because she can like keep asking questions. If there was a letter, you could just ignore the question.
Yeah.
Yes,
and for the two of you listening, this is definitely like the most shifty-eyed I've ever I've ever been. Like, because you guys don't ask me personal stuff normally, anyway. But I can't, being subtle to my mom is not.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. Yeah, and Ophelia probably also knows, like, I haven't dated anybody since we've known each other.
Mm-hmm.
I flirt a lot, but that's the flirting machine doesn't turn off.
Okay, she's not going to ask about anyone else's love lives because you're not the
I
twins.
will if there's anything about my friends that I could think of that would be interesting, I'll say something. But like,
What about Ida?
you can say that. Start some shit.
Ophelia has and will start shit, but not when she's feeling intimidated.
I think you should start shit and not just pretend you're gonna start shit in the chat. I'm not dating Ida.
No. Well, I hope the Cobalt Soul is staying well out of this war and keeping you away from it.
No, we'll see what happens. They're not keen to fight the Empire's battles for them.
Good. Neither are the people here, but we are part of the Empire, in name at least. I'm sorry, we don't need to talk about that. Where have you traveled to before this? You said this new position provided more opportunities for traveling.
I'm trying to remember what
Upper
who
Duke
got, was it Ophelia who got sent to Upper Duke and then I just came along for
I
fun?
think, yeah, well, no, I think Torkel was like, hey, bring a friend with you to Ophelia, like bring someone else from the soul.
But it was
on your-
Ophelia's fault that we
Yeah,
went.
Ophelia basically picked you to go, yeah.
Okay, then I will say, well, it started with Ophelia. We went to Hupperduke twice. That was interesting. We were around Blumenthal. That's basically it. There's a lot of
That's
travel.
pretty much it, yeah.
It was the two places. I
Okay,
know.
yeah, she asks you a lot of questions about Hupperduke and Blumenthal, just kind of, and what you did there. I don't know how honest you are in either case.
Oh God. Well, I can't talk about the spy anyway, even if I wanted to.
Just the Stalmast
Yeah,
adventure.
the Stallmass adventure, and then we went back for the fireworks. And then I can spend a lot of time, well, maybe not a lot, but a lot more time talking about the hag because that was fun.
Yeah, she's like very
and not
impressed.
politically sensitive.
Yeah. She's the most impressed that she's been all meal when you talk about the hag.
Yeah. Yeah, and that story makes Ophelia and Timony look really cool. So.
Oh yeah. And she asks both of you questions too. Like she kind of tries to when Adakora describes something, she's like, "Oh yes, is that how it went?" Like to whichever girl is more involved in the scenario. In a little bit of a teasing way, like she's like, you could tell she's used to Adakora like embellishing stories because she raised him and stuff.
It's more fun that way.
Oh yeah, she knows how it is. Yeah, Sahar kind of gets left alone, which she seems grateful for because she doesn't actually know any of you all that well.
Yeah.
So Melodora has less is less interested in her life, basically. But yeah, you
Sahar's
guys.
gathering so much intel, and when she decides to kill us all.
Yeah. But yeah, Melodora like really kind of grills you all. And then you all finish eating eventually.
Probably takes me the longest to finish eating because I have to talk so much.
You sure do.
If we have like rules or anything, Ophelia can steal so many of them, and I won't.
Yep.
I'll be
I
so
will.
How long do you plan to stay? She says, like, after all this conversation. She's starting to clear up and she like ropes Atacora into helping.
It's just like living at home again. Okay.
Yep.
Probably a week. Maybe 2.
Good. Well, stay as long. You could stay here as long as you want, of course. You should stop in and visit your grandparents and your aunt.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I can tell. Do you want me to tell them first that you're here, or do you want to surprise them like you did me? She says, a little.
Well, do you think
amused.
they would appreciate it?
I think they would appreciate some warning. Yes.
They haven't moved in with anyone unexpected.
Your grandparents? No. They are still
Never
together and do not have anyone else. She's like, no, your grandparents have not started a polycule since the last time you saw them.
You never know.
Your cousin Nefeli had a baby.
Oh.
This is your. You probably have 2 cousins. I just haven't made up the other one. Your mom has 1 sister, and she has 2
Yes.
children. Nefeli is the older one. And yeah, she was married the last time you were here. Like, she's been married for a while.
Right.
God, I wonder how long elf pregnancies last. It can't be. Hopefully,
Like-
about the same leg. Yeah. And elf babies probably age like faster. Like, it probably slows down once you hit like your teens.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, having a baby for like an infant for 3 years seems like a huge drag.
Yeah. It would suck. Oh, man.
Okay, yeah, and because humans are like that too. Like you slow down at some, like you grow really fast at the beginning. So elf babies have a similar growth rate to human babies, but yeah, they just have to have puberty for a while, which sucks.
But they come out on the other side pretty well, so
Yep,
I don't feel sorry
looking
for them.
incredible. Yeah, she starts. She's like, yes, 6 months ago, I think.
Oh. Is 6 months too young for like baby's first slingshot
No.
or
Oh, slingshot? Yes. I thought you were gonna say like hanging out with relatives. I was like, no.
no? I'm thinking of gifts to bring over for baby gifts.
Do you say that out loud, or were you just asking?
No, I
that?
was saying it out
Okay,
loud.
Okay. I don't know if your cousin would appreciate that.
Well, she never does.
I'm not sure she has the dexterity for it either, the baby.
Well, you know, she could teeth on it.
I suppose. But yes, I'll let them know you're here. They'll probably want to organize some sort of family gathering. Knowing them.
Of course. He has not thought about this at all.
But you'll have plenty of time to wander around the city and show your friends the sights, don't worry. Okay, you finish clearing everything up. Kalina goes back upstairs to her workshop. And Melodora kind of, yeah, she finishes like putting everything away in the kitchen, and turns to all of you. The the girls are all kind of still sitting at the table because she like didn't ask you to help. It was a very like guests don't have to help with lunch cleanup kind of thing. So you guys were just sitting there while everyone else, the other three like put everything away. So yeah, she turns to all of you and it's like, well, I do have to go out again, unfortunately, but I'll be back here for dinner, barring any complications.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. She like kisses your forehead a little bit,
Oh.
like rubs her fingers in your hair. All right, I'll see all of you later. And she puts on her uniform stuff again and leaves, grabs her bow and arrows and leaves.
She was nice.
Yeah, I told you she was cool.
You said
think
that,
that-
but
Oh no, I think that went better than expected.
yeah. You said that, but that doesn't mean that I believed you.
Sahar says, I'm not surprised that she's a high-ranking member of the guard who teaches people. She has that energy. I bet she's good at it.
Yeah, well, she was good when she taught me, and they're a little more studious than I am.
I bet. I mean, she seems easy to respect. Sahar kind of looks at the three of you like, okay, so
I'm
what do
fetching.
you want to do now? I don't know where anything is in this town.
Yeah, if you guys want to see more of the city, we could stay away from the places that Eleni is also going to show you. There's, and I don't know, list off some other places. There are,
I mean, you can
I
go
could
see
show them. I could show them all the places that I pulled pranks and
Yep.
shit. And
all of your little mischief hangouts.
yeah. I won't make you all come meet my grandparents. But I'll probably do that tomorrow while you guys are sightseeing. That makes sense.
Why? I like seeing you squirm.
You want to meet my grandparents?
Yeah, sure, why not? Are they like
Because
nosy?
you'll go through all of this again?
Well, I didn't talk a lot. I just said like 2 things. Maybe 10 things. You were the star of the show.
That sounded very insincere.
Well, it was true, wasn't it? Or you mean me wanting to come hang with your family?
I mean, the way in which you deliver anything that could be roughly considered complimentary. If you want to meet my grandparents, you are welcome to. But I'll probably still wait until tomorrow so they have a chance to be prepared.
Yeah, you have to like be warned or whatever. They have to be warned, I guess. It seems kind of weird that like things are cooking up between the people and the Crownsguard here. It feels like it should be pretty removed from that. But just
How
because
do you
it's
How do you mean?
like just because it's so far away from the border, pretty much. But I guess not. I don't know. The city seems bigger than I thought it was gonna be. It's like an actual, like, destination instead of just, like, 10 people in a house.
The whole of Besace Teal, my extended family.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was expecting. But there's, like, a lot of shit to do here. I mean, you can show us all the shit where you, like, did pranks and stuff, but I think the learning places are cooler. Not to say that you aren't cool or whatever.
We can find a lecture hall to sit on.
Hell yeah.
That's something you're into. Antimony just escaped that.
Okay, but how likely are they going to be, like, the lectures in Rexentrum?
Not very.
Yeah, so it's a new experience. Maybe. I don't know. I look at Antimony.
Listen, I'm happy to go anywhere at this point.
And Timothy's like, the worst is over. I have no opinions now on what we do.
Right, exactly. You know what? Take me to someplace. Take me to the coolest looking place in this city.
Oh, the coolest looking place.
Yeah, I want to see some like really cool trees or something.
I know, just the tree. What's the coolest?
I don't know. Probably it's probably something like above the city. Like there's probably a very, very beautiful hall up there somewhere. It's probably a library or something cool. Like it's a library, but it's like inside the top of a tree. It's like the fucking biggest tree in the forest. There's a library built around it. And there's like tree branches going through the roof.
I don't want to steal Eleni's thunder by taking them to the library. But they're nerds, and that's the only place they want to go.
It's true. There are multiple libraries, but that's like the impressive one.
Hell yeah.
That's
Okay,
the one that
but if
has,
Eleni
like-
takes you here tomorrow, you have to act super surprised, like you haven't seen it before.
Oh man.
We have to act like we don't know Eleni?
No, you'll see.
Oh my god.
I will take them to the cool library.
All right. Sahar kind of, as you guys are walking around, she's like, she asks Adakora, the lectures and stuff, are they in, okay, this is kind of a stupid question, I think, but are they all in Elvish?
Oh, that's a good point.
They are.
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
feel like have we just? I just figured speak Elvish with my mom, but
I think she probably switched to common upon seeing that you had, like, human and
okay.
half-orc companions. Ophelia can speak Elvish, but Melidor doesn't know that,
Yeah,
so
right.
that whole lunch was probably people speaking common.
Okay. Okay.
Probably greeted you in Elvish, like the first couple lines of your conversation. When she
Okay.
opened the
Sahar
door,
just
were in
wasn't
Elvish,
clueless
but
the whole fucking time.
yeah, no, so yeah, Sahar wasn't like completely in the dark.
Okay.
But yeah, she speaks common and orc, and that's it. So
They might have, if there are like, this is just a thought, particularly well attended like lectures might have some kind of, I don't know if there's like a different sign language for each language in Exandria, or if they have like a sort of common sign language, or
That's a good question. I feel like they've got to have different ones, just because the languages like developed independently from each other. You know, like
yeah. Or she might be able to find someone in a lecture who can translate.
yeah. She's like, it's not. I mean, it's not a big deal. I could just kind of sit with you guys. If, I mean, don't like worry about me. I was just curious.
Okay. Yeah, lot of Elvish and Bethesda deal.
Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak common at home with my parents either. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it here rather than going on a bunch of adventures in Pasay's Teal because I'm getting hungry and I should